Hi everyone, welcome to Cats and Hats Crochet. I'm Elise and I'm so happy you're here. I started making videos, I don't know, not that long ago, and I had a lot of trouble keeping up with the consistency. I have such a fear of being perceived. I don't like being perceived by myself. I don't like other people perceiving me, but I also have a huge urge to connect with other people. So I'm hoping you'll stick around and be patient with me as I try to navigate starting a YouTube channel, because it's something that I really want to do, and that urge and desire to do that has not gone away. So I'd love it if you subscribed. I'm still planning on doing videos about autism, doing videos about crochet. I love animals, and so I like to share some of my animals that I have. I have reptiles. I'm hoping to foster cats soon. Unfortunately, I did have to let go of one of my cats. We had to put him down. One of my cats. I only had one cat. So we are catless right now, and I miss him so much. I'm not going to get into any details because I don't want to cry on this video. But that has been really hard. It was one of the hardest decisions ever, and I've struggled with the guilt. But I'm hoping to foster cats because I don't think I'm really ready to open my heart to another forever cat just yet. I definitely will at some point. But right now I just miss having a fluffy, furry, purring animal to care for. So I'm hoping to honor my cat. His name was Ninja. Yes, it's a funny name. It's kind of a funny story behind it too. And hey, we go off on tangents here, right? So I'll tell you that story real quick. So when we adopted Ninja, his name was actually Cuddles. And that the people that owned him before us, because he was a surrender, Cuddles was the name they gave him. They surrendered him because he wasn't getting along with their other cat that they had adopted first, and had owned for a couple years before adopting Ninja, or Cuddles. So I think before that he was a stray or something like that. I don't know. I think they said he came to them as a kitten, and at 10 months old, they decided that it was not going to work out between him and their other cat. So they put Cuddles up for adoption through a local rescue. We found his profile or whatever, and went to go visit and meet him. And there was a little boy there, and he said, "My mom calls him Cuddles, but I like Ninja better. I call him Ninja." And my husband and I looked at each other and we were like, we like Ninja better than Cuddles. And it stuck. And so he was Ninja from then on. And he really lived up to his name. He used to stare at a corner in our dining room at our old house, and he would just like stare at it for a while, and all of a sudden he would jump and like bounce off with all four legs, bounce off the wall, and then like turn around and like run away. It was so funny. He would do that every single day. And he was very quirky. He made us laugh. I feel like he brought my husband and I together. Not going to cry. There's a time and a place for crying. I just don't feel like having a cry sesh on this video. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But hopefully you'll be seeing some foster kitties soon, and I will happily share my bearded dragon. And as long as nobody is too afraid, I will share my snakes. I have 5 ball pythons. Yeah, I will. I know people personally that have a phobia of snakes. So if I ever share the snakes, I will give a disclaimer before I do that. So anyway, without further ado, let's move on to the main content of this video. So the content of this video is going to be about how I manage to participate in craft shows and markets as an autistic person. Sounds like something that would be a little bit difficult for an autistic person, right? Overstimulating, lots of socializing going on. Here is what I do. Now, before I get started here, this is my comfort kitty. I'm gonna hold on to him. He's gonna be my little sensory comfort during this video. Okay, so, really quick, I'm just gonna show off his eyes because I think they're really cool. I've been getting into resin painted eyes, painted with glitter, mica powder, and then UV resin. Here's another tangent. Here we go. Here's some more eyes. Kind of hard on the camera to pick it up, but let me go a little bit. I found these so hard to take pictures of. Does anyone have tips for that? Because there's like such a bad glare most of the time, but you need the light to pick up the glitter and to really pick up the colors and stuff. Is that the same one that I just showed? Maybe. Oh, here's a different one. But yeah, I'm planning on putting these on my Etsy shop. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Here's one I didn't show. Smaller one. Anyway, that's been really fun. Okay, so now it's time to get started. Now we'll get started for real. Okay, so how do I manage to navigate my way through a craft show while being autistic and having sensory processing challenges, social challenges, anxiety, so much anxiety? Number one tip is to bring something that you find really, really calming. So for me, that is easy. Crochet. And it's perfect because you are selling your crochet items at the craft fair, right? So if people see you crocheting, it's perfect because they're more likely to stop and be like, oh wow, you're like, I've had people say like, oh wow, you're doing it right there. And they're impressed because I'll be like, yeah, I'm like, I'll start restocking some of my smaller items. If they sell out, I can just restock them right there. So I usually bring yarn for those small, quick makes that I can whip up and put out there as I make them. So that is the way. That is something that keeps me calm, passes the time, and also has the bonus of drawing people in to see what you're doing. They'll come over and start talking to me about crochet. Usually if they're going to comment on me actually sitting there and crocheting, they'll just compliment me, or they'll say, you know, my grandma crochets, or I crochet, and then we'll just strike up a conversation about crochet. So those are actually some of my favorite conversations, is somebody that's going to talk to me about actually crocheting and sharing with me that they know someone that crochets or they crochet themselves. Okay, so another thing that really helps me with craft fairs is the fact that you basically have a built-in script. People will come over and they'll start commenting on your plushies and asking you some questions like, how long did it take you to make this? And a lot of times they're the same comments and questions over and over again, which is so helpful when you're autistic. Might be really annoying if you're neurotypical, and it might even be annoying if you're neurodivergent, but it's predictable and it is comforting to me since it's so predictable. So that is one of the things I like about craft fairs, is that you're gonna get the same comments and questions over and over again, and there's new people coming through. You're not talking to the same person. Usually you're not talking to the same person over and over again. So each time someone new comes through, you can start that script all over again and nobody is gonna know. You can say the exact same, like if you have some small talking points, to just like start a little back and forth, you know, like about the weather or about one of the other vendors, or maybe they are holding something in their hands that they just purchased and you want to talk about that, or you want to compliment something that they're wearing, whatever it is, you can use the same things over and over and over. You can use the exact same one over. You could say the exact same sentence over and over, and nobody's gonna know because it's new people coming through. And during the transaction, they might need suggestions on like what to purchase. So I'll show them some different things. Like I have some different plushies that like pop up and down or move, or they're kind of like fidgets. It's gonna be the same conversation when it comes time to pay. They're probably gonna ask, what you take, and you can like rattle off, cash card, Venmo. So you're pretty much saying the same things over and over again, which is super helpful when you're autistic and you're at a craft fair. I almost forgot, this was going to be one of my top ones, so it's still at the top, but or maybe I'm doing it backwards. I don't know. I didn't really have an order for this. But my next tip, or I don't know, or reason, or what thing that really helps me out at craft fairs is the fact that crochet is my special interest, one of my special interests. So if you are doing any kind of show, craft show, maybe your special interest is reptiles and you're going to a reptile expo, or maybe your special interest is aquariums and you're going to aquarium swap where they're swapping plants and fish and things like that. Those social situations are going to be so much easier if they have to do with your special interest, because you will know what to talk about because you know that topic inside and out. And you'll be really motivated to go and interact because it's your special interest. And when something is your special interest, it's very exciting. It's so much joy. You can't get enough of it. So and it's going to come first. It's going to come first before the not wanting to socialize or go somewhere. So, yeah, I know for me, like for everything else, I'm like, I don't want to go out. I want to stay home. I'm a major homebody. But if someone's like, let's go to the yarn store, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But if someone's like, let's go to the mall, I'm like, no thanks. Or if somebody's like, let's go to the fair, to like the county fair. No thanks. Although I've done it and it can be fun, especially because they have animals, and that is definitely something that interests me and has always been a special interest for me. But if they're like, let's go to a yarn show, or something like that, I might be like, yes, let's do that. So, yeah, it definitely is very motivating if it's a special interest. Okay, another thing that really helps me is planning ahead the best that I can. So I do everything as far as like packing the car, going through my checklist. Make sure you have a checklist. That's really, really helpful. I'll just shout someone out that has a good checklist. If you've ever heard of Cameron's Cute Creations here on YouTube, they have a really comprehensive, awesome checklist, and you can download that. I think it might be free or it might be a small fee, but either way, I would say it's worth it, because I don't even think I've ever added anything to it. There might be a few things that I crossed out that just don't apply to me for some reason, but I would highly recommend checking out. And it's like in different categories, so like personal items, social media, like other advertising, your setup, like your table and it's categorized. So it's organized really nicely. So I would definitely plan on planning ahead as much as you can. Another way you can plan ahead is to practice your setup ahead of time. Set up your table, set up everything on top of the table, the way that you think you'll want it. Take a picture of that if you really like what you have set up, because that way you can remember it when you're setting it up on the day of the craft show. And If you have a tent, I would definitely recommend setting that up ahead of time. Find out if you need help setting it up. I would set that up more than just like the night before. I would do that maybe like a couple weeks or something like that. If you find that you're going to need someone to help you set it up, plan on having somebody there to help you. I would recommend getting a tent that can be set up with one person, so that you don't have to worry about that if the person that maybe was going to come help you can't come for some reason, or you don't have somebody in your life that could really help you. You can read the reviews on Amazon. Amazon usually has pictures and videos. So that's a really good way to pick out a tent that's going to work for you. Okay, I just have a couple more. Ask about seeing the space ahead of time if you think that will help you. Maybe just ask for pictures. Maybe Google Maps is enough because it's outside and maybe you can just see it from the road on Google Maps. You can ask the event planner or whoever is in charge of planning the craft show. You can ask if you can stop by before the craft show. Some craft shows will allow setup like the night before or a couple nights before. Typically not your actual items that you're selling, but they'll allow you to set up like your table, and you could put your tablecloth on. You could just put some basics there that you don't have to worry about getting stolen. And also, just a side note with that, if you feel like you need it to explain why you need those accommodations, like maybe nobody else is asking to see the space before, and maybe the person kind of is acting like it's kind of an odd request, or maybe you just feel like explaining yourself. I don't know. Just remember that you don't necessarily have to say, I need to see the space ahead of time because I'm autistic, or I have ADHD. Like, you don't have to give your full diagnosis or list off your diagnoses. You can always just say, I struggle with anxiety, and seeing the space ahead of time would be really helpful for me. Or I struggle with social anxiety, and seeing the space ahead of time would be really helpful for me. Or I struggle with sensory processing, and it'll be easier for me to process everything if I can see it ahead of time and already know what to expect. So something you don't have to like give your full diagnosis. You can just give the relative parts of it that are the relevant, that's the word I was looking for, the relevant parts of that diagnosis. If you feel like either that would just explain better, because some people aren't fully educated in autism or what it is. Some people, they've heard of it, but like they don't really fully know what autistic people, struggle with, or what accommodations help autistic people. So it would give them something more specific to understand. And two, if you don't feel comfortable explaining that you're autistic, saying something like I struggle with anxiety might be a little more comfortable for you. Okay, and my last tip is an accommodation that I will often ask for, and that is to not be near loud music. So a lot of times the event planner will ask if anybody has a preference as to where their table is, because a lot of times what happens is they have tables available for you. Not always, but sometimes. If they don't have a table available for you, they'll, have spots that they'll set up ahead of time. So they'll either arrange the tables ahead of time or put like tape on the floor or something to show where all the spaces are going to be. And they'll have a sign with your name and or your business on it, so that everybody knows where to go as they come in. That's pretty much how every single craft fair has been, probably except for my outdoor one, because it's kind of hard to like put a sign or tape down like in a parking lot. So for that one, we had to kind of ask and be shown where our spots were. But for pretty much every single indoor craft show I've done, they have the spots marked out for you, either a table set up with the sign on it, or tape on the floor again, with a sign with your name and or your business name. So when the event planner is planning out where to put everybody, they'll ask if anybody has a preference, just in case they need like a wall behind them or they need electrical. And that's usually when I'll say that I would prefer to be away from any loud music. For me, it's especially if it's going to be in like a large room, like if it's at a school, at a cafeteria, or in a gym, the combination of all the people talking and the music, if it's close by, is definitely hard for me. And that's luckily it's only happened to me like once, where I was close to loud, echoey music and a lot of people talking. So if that's something that you need, feel free to speak up. I don't think that is too unreasonable. And that way you will have the capacity to get through the craft fair without burning yourself out. Okay, and last, this actually is not on my list, but the last thing I want to say is be mindful of spacing your craft shows out. You want to make sure that you're not stressing yourself out, especially if you're getting really excited because, again, it's your special interest and you're like, I want to sign up. Maybe you did a craft show and you're really excited about how it went, and you're really excited to sign up for more craft shows. This kind of happened to me. Make sure you spread them out. Kind of try to find your balance. If you're not sure what your balance is because you're just getting started, try to think about, okay, I'm going to need to crochet this much, and that'll take me about this long, without like crocheting all day, every day, of course. Give yourself some time to finish restocking without completely burning yourself out. You don't want to burn out on your favorite thing to do, right? You don't want to burn out your special interest. So you want to keep things low stress if possible. So sign up for more craft fairs, but maybe do like one a month, or if you can space it out and do 2 a month and still restock in between, you could do that. I've kind of been doing definitely no more than 2 a month. Some people do craft shows every weekend. I don't know how people do that, but I think some people do that. But maybe find, if you're wanting to start a crochet business and craft shows are one of the ways you're making money for that, try to find some other ways that you can make money through crochet, because there are other ways you can do that. You can set up an Etsy or Shopify or whatever platform you want to use. You can post on local groups if you have like a local group that supports small businesses and allows you to post some advertisements on there. You could start writing patterns and selling those. So there's other things you can do that would not drain your social battery so much, and also wouldn't get you sort of burnt out from trying to plan and prep for every craft show. I'm usually really tired after craft show. I remember one not too long ago where I got home, and usually crocheting is my comfort, right? So if I'm feeling like I'm burning out, that's usually what I do. But I did not even want to crochet. I just wanted to go to bed. I was just so tired, just like time for bed. So just be careful not to overdo it. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. I'm just going to be honest here. I actually filmed this whole video with my phone the wrong way. So I had to redo it. And I was starting to like lose my words and just like mind going blank. And yeah, so that's always fun when that happens. So, this would happen. This is raw and real autistic person who loves crochet, who's new to YouTube. But it's an awesome community. I feel like I have, like I said before, I have such a fear of being perceived, but I feel like the community here on YouTube, the autistic YouTuber community, is really awesome. It's just very accepting and supportive, and also the crochet YouTube community, really, really supportive of each other. Yeah, it's really cool to. I've seen a lot of negative sides of social media. Um, Not to get too far into another special interest of mine. Hey, I'm ADHD, okay? um, I am really interested in like misinformation and disinformation and like scams and like cults and the whole thing, okay? And there's a lot of toxic stuff on social media. There's a lot of negatives. But seeing the way it brings people together, it teaches people that don't know that they're neurodivergent that they are. I mean, that's how I found out I was autistic, was on a YouTube video. And just people being raw and real and sharing their experiences. And also the crochet community, like I said, just so accepting, so authentic, and so excited about what they do and talented. It's just, it's amazing. So thank you. If you are an autistic YouTuber and or a crochet YouTuber and you're watching this, thank you for being you. Thank you for putting yourself out there. It takes a lot of bravery. Okay. So it's scary being perceived, and yeah, you are awesome. So yeah, be yourself. Be kind. It's okay to feel the way you do, whether it's positive or negative. You don't always have to have those positive vibes, okay? Just feel your feelings and know that there's people out there that care about you. Okay? Take care. Bye. Okay, the next thing, whoa, sorry. My phone was like bouncing a little bit. Okay, bouncing. Words. Why are words so hard? Ugh.